Yes, I am.
All right. Hello and welcome to the Simmons Says Show here from Studio 605. I am Jeff Simmons, your host. If you're new to the show, this is our new studio in Studio 605. We have about 3 of them now, and I own about 2 of them, all in the same room. Yeah, I have that big of an ego here. I am Jeff Simmons again. Too, our presenting sponsor of the Simmons Says Show is Mud Bums, Family Sports Grill, 507-2867. That is 507 Bums. I don't need to kick my mic over to do that. And they will be opening up at 11 o'clock. They have the $10 lunch specials. You can get a cheeseburger or chicken tenders or a barbecue sandwich and one side and a drink for $10, or you can get their meat in 3. It's Tuesday, which means that's probably ham day, if I'm not mistaken, over there at Mud Bums Family Sports Grill. Test them out again, too, tonight. They'll have 2-for-1s. They'll have half-price appetizers and and 50-cent boneless wings, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I had last week on Tuesday at Mud Bums. So, again, too, if you're enjoying a little bit of Mud Bums tonight, let them know that you heard about them on the Simmons Says Show. Special show again today. We have District Attorney candidate Randall Gilliam into the house. How you doing, sir?
Doing great, thanks. Thanks for having me here.
Hey, we're having a good time. We've already been chatting a little bit. And I want to say, the first thing that I want to clear up for everybody here is, I heard this in offhand, kind of in passing last week when you were here for the Back It Up Terry show, that you were born in California.
That's true.
So walk us through this journey to Middle Tennessee, because I keep, it sounds like it was a journey back to Middle Tennessee, but explain it for everybody.
So the story starts in Grundy County, Tennessee, where my dad is from.
Yeah.
And my dad, I guess, surprised everyone, including my father-in-law, if you have time for the longer version of the story.
Go ahead.
But my father-in-law, David Hillis, and my dad went to school together in Grundy County at Tracy City. And so my dad, to quote my father-in-law, made a doctor, as they say. To everyone's surprise, apparently my dad had quite the misspent youth, and was everyone was surprised, but he made a doctor, and that landed him in Loma Linda, California. He was married to my mom before they left, but they arrived there, and I was born in Loma Linda, California, while he was in medical school. And he took his first residency in Central Florida, in the Orlando area, and worked down there for a long time. But he and my mom, of course, were smart enough to dump me on their parents back up here in Tennessee, in Grundy and Coffee County.
Oh, okay. So
I don't have a memory of not being here. At my earliest memories, I spent my whole summers up here. Grew to love it, and when I turned 18, I moved here. I went to school in Chattanooga, to college in Chattanooga, and went to law school in Alabama. Came back to Chattanooga, which is where I met my wife. People ask me, well, how did you land in Warren County? Well, the answer is really simple. Most married men understand this. I married a Warren County girl.
There you go.
And we decided early on that we wanted to build our family here in Warren County. Of course, she has lots of great support and family here, and that was a great decision. And we've been here now 20 plus years, and I'm grateful to be here.
Yeah, good job. Wait, don't commit to a exact number there. You might get yourself in trouble.
Right.
I think
right.
Right.
Well, I've got my wedding anniversary inscribed on my ring right here.
See, that's smart. That's a smart move for sure. Yeah, it's funny you were telling me about that, and you said that y'all met. I think was in Chattanooga.
We met in Chattanooga. Yeah, we were. I was working at a small law firm there, and she was working at the hospital there, Erlanger, as a physical therapist. And I like to tease her that she had to move to Chattanooga to find a husband and drag him back to Warren County.
And you said, "Ha ha ha! Joke's on you.
Joke's on
ready.
you.
I was ready to go."
That's right. That's right.
I know that area well.
That's correct.
Well, that's great. Man. It's great. It's great having you in Warren County. How did you get yourself into the law community in Warren County? I mean, give us the backstory of what's your path taken and where you're at now.
So I was working. I'm a bit of a nerd. I think Chris may have asked me this question. I'm not sure, but I was working as a regulatory attorney in Nashville. back around 2000 to 2005 or so.
And what would that?
So
explain that one to me, because
sure.
I don't I as I've pointed out a lot, all I know from law is like TV shows and movies.
So there was an agency called the Tennessee Regulatory Authority.
Okay.
It has since been absorbed into the Public Service Commission, but it was tasked with regulating telecommunications, regulating the transmission of gas through pipes, and other such relatively obscure things. Prior to working there, I had been working as a in-house counsel for a telecom company.
Oh, okay.
And so that was my skill set, and that landed me there in Nashville. We were living in Manchester at the time. I was commuting to Nashville. My wife was commuting here to McMinnville, working at River Park, and that's why Manchester, because
interstate system.
We were right there on the interstate, right? And
Yep.
she could shoot over here, and I could shoot up to Nashville. But we attended First Baptist over there in Manchester, and our Sunday school teacher was a TBI agent.
Oh.
And he knew I was an attorney. We, of course, talked. And he suggested to me one day, said, hey, Gilliam, I know you commute to Nashville every day. I don't ever hear you complain about your job. But there is an opening for an assistant district attorney at the DA's office here in Coffee County.
Wow.
You ought to go talk to him. And I did the math on that, and I thought, well, and at that point, I didn't have a clear picture of what an assistant district attorney does.
Yeah.
But I was interested in shortening my commute, and I had, on several occasions, picked up from one area of the law and sat down in another one and learned it. And so I thought, well, let's give this a shot. And I thought that I could do good, because at the TRA, I was one of 6 or 7 attorneys. But whenever it was time to stand up and address people, a group of people publicly, that task fell to me for some reason over time. So I was not as intimidated by that as some of my colleagues. And so, long story short, following my Sunday school teacher's advice, I went and looked into that job and was hired.
Yeah.
And almost immediately, I walked into the courtroom as an assistant district attorney and learning the ropes there, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And I knew this is it. This is what I want to do, and I've been doing it ever since.
Yeah. So as assistant district attorney in Coffee County, ultimately end up moving to being an assistant district attorney in Warren County as well.
Remember, I married a Warren County girl.
Yeah.
And the goal was to get here.
Yeah.
When I took that job, I started keeping tabs on things here in Warren County.
Smart.
And when a position came open over here, I put in for it, and I'm grateful that I was able to get that job and ultimately move my family here and raise my family here.
And that time frame was when did you take that job, and how long did you keep that job?
I took the job here in 2000. Don't hold me to the number. 2006, I believe it was.
Okay.
2006, 2007. I think 2006.
And then held that up to 2022.
Yes. Yeah. 2000. I guess it was 2007. I think I missed about a year of that first
part of the
term
administration. Yeah. And so you were 15 years on the job as an assistant district attorney in Warren County, and then over the last 4 years, we were talking about this, is had a new role that you've been doing in Cookeville, it seems like.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, in 2022, I was given an opportunity. I received a text message from the elected district attorney in that district. That's Cookeville. It centers around Cookeville. It's actually 7 counties. I didn't know him. He didn't know me. But he had someone that ascended to the bench, became a judge, and he was in need of an assistant district attorney that could hit the ground running on relatively complex cases. So he couldn't hire someone straight out of law school for the job, because it was felony child abuse prosecutions, which are, in my estimation, the most complex types of prosecutions there are in criminal law. So he was sort of checking around, and the district attorneys, they all talk to each other and find out who's where and what they can do. So he, I'm sure, vetted me a little bit and reached out to me. And long story short, I took that job in 2022, and I have been doing that ever since.
Yeah. And unfortunately, a job that probably keeps you busy. But again, as we said, unfortunately.
Very unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
I of course would prefer not to ever learn of a case of a child being abused, and that would be great. I'd love to just prosecute something that wasn't nearly as traumatic as that.
Yeah.
But it's out there. Evil exists in the world and has to be dealt with.
Yeah, and again too, you were on Chris Terry's show last week, and backing up Terry, and there's things in the legal system, the things that you seem like you have a passion for to prosecute on, and that seems like that's one of those ones that you really say that, hey, we have to be pretty strong on this. Is that, would I be correct in that assessment?
Absolutely. You know, we can all agree on a number of things. We all agree that, for example, drugs are at the heart of almost every problem that we have in criminal law. That includes child abuse, by the way.
Yeah.
We see a lot of that. We see, for example, folks that are addicted to drugs abusing their children at the earliest possible point by ingesting those drugs while they're pregnant.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I have a heart for victims, and I would say that has come into focus for me even more doing the job that I've been doing for the last 4 years.
So the perspective that you get from doing all these roles and the totality of your law experience just kind of brings you to where we're at now, which is you are a candidate for the district attorney race. You can vote early until August the 1st. You can actually do that at Locust Street at the admin building. You can go to Centertown, or you can also go to Morrison, not the Rotary Club, the Morrison Ruritan. My apologies on that. Until August the 1st, and of course August the 6th will be the big day. If I sneeze real quick, Randall, I apologize. I don't think in a year and a half I've ever sneezed during my show on that. You were the one that were telling me that the allergies might have caught up with you, and now I'm the one sneezing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's on camera, but I got a bottle of water and some throat lozenges right there because something hit me yesterday too. So I apologize before we went on air if I start to coughing.
Hey, well, good thing is I got it out of the way. I got the sneeze out of the way. But as we were saying, you've had this distinguished career in law, and now you're in a position that I don't know. Did you ever think I've done the assistant job for a long time. Maybe I want to try being the district attorney. What kind of compelled you to say I'm going to put my hat in the ring this year?
So you're right. This was a situation that came up, and I suppose is unusual, right?
Oh yes, very unusual.
I hesitate to say unexpected, given that the prior DA was criminally indicted, and in my opinion, once that happens, the rest naturally follows.
Yeah.
So here we are. That being said, if things had proceeded normally, we wouldn't be sitting here. We would have an election in 2030. I would be 4 years older, and at a point where I would then be looking at maybe running. Yes, I think anyone who does this job, as long as I have, from time to time, as you become more and more familiar with all the processes and you start to identify problems, you start thinking, hey, I think I could do that better, right? And I think it's a natural progression for many of us that have done this for a long time to say, hey, you know what? I love this place. I've spent a long time here. I've put 15 years into an office, and so I have an emotional connection, and I also have a love for my community, and so when you recognize a need to lead the office, you do the math and you say, you know what, I think I can do this, and so that's why I'm here.
Well, we appreciate you coming in here again, too. If you're here watching on Facebook right now, hit the like button, hit the share button, let everybody know that you're starting your day with the Simmons Says Show, where we are talking to candidate for District Attorney Randall Gilliam. I think that, as you said, you're in that assistant role for a long time. You get to see you're in the mix. So you're seeing what's going on. What do you feel like the biggest challenge would be from going from assistant to the district attorney, what roles do you feel like you would change for you compared to it? Now, granted, you're not in an assistant district attorney role as we speak, right? Or actually you are. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
you're in a district attorney office, but what would be the difference between what you do now or what you've done in the past to being the district attorney?
So if you're going to be the district attorney,
Yeah.
it's the old saying, the buck stops there, right? Yeah. And so the idea is this. I think I can point to years of experience. I can point to the common goals that we just talked about. We want to put drug dealers in prison. We want to find a structured path of rehabilitation for folks that are addicted to drugs. We want to put violent criminals that cause suffering to all beings, whether it's children, older folks, or even animals. Those are all goals that I think any responsible candidate for district attorney would have and would state.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is the judgment and the temperament that you develop along the way. The years of experience. What have they developed in you as a candidate, as a person who offers to lead the office? And that is what I bring. Yeah. I really think that at the end of the day, the buck does stop with the DA. The DA sets the tone for the office. The DA makes difficult decisions almost every day. And that requires sound judgment, and it also requires a certain temperament. And you have to be able to maintain your cool and make reasoned decisions based on your experience in some difficult situations that come up very quickly. And so you have to apply judgment that you've developed over years, and you have to do it with the temperament that's going to inspire confidence in those that are following you, and more importantly, in the public that's watching you.
Yeah. As you said, the temperament and the things that you have to have as a district attorney. I was looking through, kind of getting prepared for this interview and looked through your website for your district attorney campaign. And I think the word that I saw a lot on different pages was disciplined. Discipline charging, discipline in everything they're saying. I mean, when you talk about a district attorney who has to set the tone, why is something like discipline charging something that would be in your vocabulary and something that would be a part of what you would want to accomplish?
So the discipline I'm talking about extends through the process. Yeah. It starts with the investigation. The investigation must be thorough. You need to really dig in, and you need to have great relationships with those that are that are part of that investigation. Yeah. So your law enforcement agencies that are doing those investigations, and it's got to be thorough. And they look to you for guidance on what do we need to conduct this investigation properly? What do we need to prove if we think a crime's been committed? What types of proof or evidence are necessary to make that case? It also, once a case lands in the DA's office, there needs to be a discipline review of that investigation. And the point is, by the time a case gets to the grand jury and indictments are sought, you need to be certain that you have done the job correctly. And the reason for that is charges change lives. Yeah. A person who is indicted has their life changed forever. A person who is a victim of a serious crime has had their life changed forever. And the district attorney and the district attorney's office is at the center of all of that, moving that forward. So it's incredibly important. It's a solemn duty, and one that ought to be taken seriously, one that ought to be guided with sound judgment and temperament.
Talking about the entire process and how you have to work through it and being disciplined and being measured and being thorough when it comes down to it. I mean, you talk about law enforcement. I mean, you have to have a very good working relationship with law enforcement. What happens when that doesn't go well? I mean, I know you've been in this long enough to know that there's probably been situations where you want to bring a case or they want to bring a case, or you're in the midst of, or you have a person coming to your office saying, why aren't y'all doing stuff? Like, well, what does it happen when that's not in cohesion?
So there are of course lots of problems that result from that.
Yeah.
Law enforcement needs to know that they can rely on your guidance, and that does not mean that you simply rubber stamp what they do.
Yeah.
They don't bring you a file and you go, okay, great, stamp, move it on to the grand jury. They need to know that you're going to look at it thoroughly. They need to know that when they call you with a question, that you're going to have the answer for them. And rebuilding and repairing relationships with law enforcement is one of the things that I've identified as a problem I seek to fix.
Yeah.
Similarly with victims. Victims need to be treated right. That means communicating with them regularly. That means making sure that they know when and where to be in terms of court. That means walking them through the process and helping them understand it. These folks have suffered the worst day of their lives, and it's important. We deal in many cases, and it's really important to remember that although we deal with this all the time, for the victim, this is the single worst thing that's ever happened to them, and we need to be cognizant of that, and we need to treat it that way, and show the empathy that they need, and demonstrate the knowledge about the case that will inspire confidence in them to know that the case is going to be handled correctly. And if we can do those things, if we can repair those relationships with law enforcement and instill a certain amount of confidence with the victims, then we'll build stronger cases. Right. If we build stronger cases, good things follow, right?
Traditionally.
Stronger cases move faster through the court.
Yeah.
Another problem that I think has persisted for too long, certainly since the pandemic, is that we have a backlog of cases. The pandemic parked all of the courts across the state of Tennessee for a year, and no cases were essentially getting tried. Yeah. That's a problem that persists. There are other contributing factors to that backlog. I think the best way to attack that problem is to come with stronger cases. Yeah. That requires talking to the victims, making sure that we have good relationships with them. Similarly with law enforcement, if we can do those things, we can have stronger cases. We can move them through the courts faster and reduce that backlog.
Talking about rebuilding the relationships and getting a strong relationship with law enforcement, what does that look like? I mean, if you're in office in the next year, what is that? How do I see that as the community, or is that something that y'all more say together in when y'all's working relationship?
So it's not really a public process, right?
No, I wouldn't think so.
It's relationships.
Yeah.
It's instilling confidence in the folks that are out there doing the investigations. Yeah. Making sure that there's an open line of communication, making sure that they understand that we want them to succeed in their work, making sure that they understand that we want to have a strong partnership with them, while of course not rubber stamping their work. Yeah. Right? They respect that. Yeah. And they really, the investigators that I know, they really want to do a good job. They care about these victims. This is something that's very important to them. And I'm confident that we can do better and that we can rebuild those relationships.
Kind of moving into just the idea of what the job is, or what the things that are accomplished from the district attorney's office. Kind of walk us through what a district attorney actually does from the time that a case lands on the desk until it's over. Like, what's that process like? Because I know that could be, obviously too, it could probably go over months, years, but what's it like from the start to eventually the end?
So it starts with a report of a crime that comes in, usually with an incident report. Sometimes it comes through Sessions Court. We'll learn of a case where a warrant's been taken. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it starts with an investigation that is being conducted by detectives at the police department or the sheriff's department. And it starts with documentation that we review. We look at the reports that are generated, and we start making plans about what's next in terms of the investigation. And we develop the case and we build the case. It involves talking with victims and their families, making sure that we have all the information from them that we need. Uh, there's a whole host of things that we could talk about just in terms of an investigation.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what you want is a thorough investigation. All right. Once that investigation is complete and you have everything you need, you have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, that's the time to take it to the grand jury and present it to a grand jury and seek an indictment.
Yeah.
After that, you're in the criminal court and you're moving through the court process. Ultimately, if many of our cases resolve short of a trial.
Yeah.
That's necessary because the volume of cases is such that you can't try them all. If you have hundreds of cases and only X number of days available to try cases, the math works against you. So you have to prioritize, and that's part of that process as well. Prioritizing cases and making sure that the cases that need to go to trial do go to trial, that you're prepared, that you know your case, or that your assistants know their case, that everything is lined up properly, so that when you make a case to a jury, they know that you've done your best work, that you can prove your case beyond a reasonable doubt, and that we can get a measure of justice for the victims in the case.
I'm getting like an iceberg analogy in my head that I think that when I think about a district attorney, we think about y'all in the courtroom. But it seems like that's just like we said, it's kind of the tip of the iceberg. Cause it sounds like as you're describing it, as much as y'all's job can almost in becoming investigators of a situation, or at the very least a thorough reviewer of investigations before you even step foot in a courtroom at any point.
I tell some of the younger or less experienced assistant district attorneys that talk to me about these things, I tell them, investigate the investigators.
Yeah.
Right. And what that means is take a look over their shoulder, look at their reports, look at the evidence that they've brought in, make sure that the search warrants were done correctly.
Yeah.
Of course, make yourself available to help make sure those search warrants are done correctly on the front end.
Let's not get beat on a loophole here.
Right. Let's not have something suppressed unnecessarily, for example. But take a good long and close look at the investigation and make sure that it meets your standard before you move the case forward.
Yeah. And you said something that I noticed when I was kind of researching for this is you talk to younger people that are in this role, but you've actually gotten to the point where I think you're doing some teaching, or you've been led some seminars or something like that. Explain what's going on here, because it seems like you're not just somebody that's been in there. You're someone that is a pretty well-known voice across the state of Tennessee now.
So there is a trial advocacy school that happens every year in Memphis.
Yeah.
And that is where, to your point, talking about the process of a case, we break a trial down and what precedes it into its component parts. Okay. And we spend a week studying exactly how to do each of those things correctly and more effectively. And I have been on faculty with that school since 2014.
Awesome.
And so I have occasion to meet with and talk to and instruct prosecutors from across the state that are either younger or less experienced than those of us that are teaching there. Oh, yeah. And I'm grateful for that opportunity. And of course, the really great byproduct of that is I'm sitting around with really smart, just awesome prosecutors from across the state. And I'm speaking, of course, of the faculty there. And so I'm learning and sharpening my skills every year just from that exposure. And I'm grateful for it. And I'm happy to have that in my repertoire, and it's something that I think that I can bring to the office.
Yeah, that was one of the more the curious things, or not a curious thing, just more impressive things to me. It was like, I wouldn't say that you could write the book on this, but or that you've wrote the book on this, but you've taught it. You've taught the book a few times, so it sounds like you've gotten yourself to the point where respectability, the respect of the community and the state in your position and your knowledge of what you have to do.
I mean, it's certainly a goal. Back to this, right? race, it's certainly a goal of mine to inspire confidence in the office. I think what happened that brought us to this special election shook the confidence in the office.
Oh, there's no question.
In the community. And my sense is that confidence has not been restored yet. I want to restore that confidence. I want folks to feel good about their DA's office. I want them to know that things are being done correctly, and that they can feel safe and secure in knowing that the DA's office is doing the right thing every day.
Yeah, in a lot of aspects, it feels like I'm 40 years old. I've lived in Warren County most of my entire life, other than when I was in college at UT. And honestly, I started thinking about it until this last year and a half. It's like, how many conversations have I ever had about the district attorney or the district's attorney's office? And aside from, just a little bit of my family's dealings with it, I was like, I don't think I've ever really talked about it. But then all of a sudden, it's like, it's all we talked about for a little while in Warren County. And as you said, it wasn't as if it was maybe the most glamorous way of which we were discussing either the district attorney or the office. So yeah, I mean, what will it take? I mean, because I don't think it'll just take a changing of the guard. I think it's also going to take beyond that. I mean, these next 4 years, I feel like whoever's in that office is going to have a lot of responsibility of showing this community, like, hey, this is different. We're serious. We know what we're doing.
It's going to take the things that I spoke about a minute ago.
Yeah.
It's going to take restoring relationships with law enforcement that are broken. It's going to take doing a better job by victims. Doing those things are going to build stronger cases, and stronger cases are what's necessary here to achieve that confidence that we're trying to get to. And I think if we do all those things and we reduce the backlog as a result, I think we will restore confidence in the office. And I don't think, to your point, that it's going to happen overnight. And I don't think that simply changing the guard does it either. I think you have to do the work that I'm talking about.
Yeah. You have to roll up your sleeves and get to work on that. Again, too, we are speaking with District Attorney candidate Randall Gilliam. You can vote early in Warren County until August the 1st, and you can also vote on August the 6th. Again, this is not going to be a job that's just going to be representing Warren County. It's going to be representing Warren County and Van Buren County. And I want to ask, also, too, I want to tell everybody about our presenting sponsor, Mud Bums Family Sports Grill, 507-2867. That is 507 Bums. They are open now if you want to go catch a little bit of lunch. And I also want to thank everybody that is in the comment section right now, including Cody Campbell, that just brought up something about a little bit of the fantasy wrestling multiverse that at one point I think both of us have been in at one point or another out there. I mean, everybody's a little bit of we're human. You're not just a assistant district attorney, and I'm not just a sports guy. I mean, this would make more sense than me being a wrestling fan. But yeah, we've dabbled in a little bit of all kinds of life as it going through. Warren first said, ask him if he wins the race, how does he plan on working with the currently employed? This was something I wanted to ask too. You've been a part of that transitional period. You've been in the office there. Of course, you went to Cookeville. What is it like in that situation once an election happens for the people that are working there, and how does that transaction happen when there can be maybe continued leadership or new leadership?
There is a lot of anxiety that comes with working for an elected boss.
Yeah,
I've been through that myself 2 or 3 times. I was trying to do the math on that. I think 3 times. Yeah. And there's a lot of anxiety. What's going to happen? Am I going to still have my job? All of those sorts of things. And, over the course of this campaign, I've been approached by folks that are friends or family of folks that work in the DA's office. Hey, what are you going to do? Are you going to just, come in there and wipe out the office and bring in a whole new team? Mm-hmm. And of course, the answer is no.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate and grateful to have worked with a lot of the folks that are there now, and I'm well acquainted with the great work that they do, and I'm grateful that they do that good of a job, and I'm hopeful to help lead them in continuing to do that good work.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think that there's everybody has people that they want to be surround themselves around and work with. But again, that's something that, as you said, there's people there that you've already surrounded yourself and worked with. So
Yes.
it's a pretty good transitional office for you because of your past with that office.
Yes. I mean, I think, again, like I said a minute ago, the buck stops at the top. The person at the top sets the tone, sets the priorities, has the ability to review everyone's work, make sure that the right people are in the right places, make sure that the priorities are correct. There's a lot of things that flow from the top, but that doesn't translate into some sort of mass firing at the office or anything such as that.
No, I don't think this is going to be walking tall where the Rock comes in and gets the y'all are all fired.
No,
that's a sheriff's race. We can ask Bo that this Thursday. That'll be his own thing. No, again, going back to a little bit of, as you said, this is something that the public is going to be watching. All eyes are going to be on this office. I feel like this might be the defining race in Warren County in August coming up. Again, there's a sheriff's race, there's county commission races, there's a county executive race, but I think this one might be the one that is the most defining in this cycle. What happens where the public wants one thing, but the evidence is telling you a completely different thing? What happens in those scenarios?
So, in my current job, when I walk in through the lobby every day, there is a life-size poster that has a simple phrase on it. It says, "Pursue guilt, protect innocence." Simple concept, right? But it gets difficult in a scenario like you've described, where the public maybe is misinformed about the nature of a case, and they're looking for a result that the evidence doesn't fit. That requires a district attorney to do the ethical thing, which is to go against that public sentiment and make the correct decision. If guilt should be pursued, that should be pursued regardless of what's commonly being talked about out there. Same thing. If someone has been unjustly accused, justice demands that be recognized and that person not be prosecuted. I think the skill comes in communicating why you do what you do effectively, and hopefully educating the public as to why you made the decision that you did. And I think one of the necessary components in being able to do that goes back to what I've been talking about, and that is restoring confidence in the office in the first place. If they're confident in you, if they believe that you seek to do the right thing, if they believe that you have the skill set and the experience and the knowledge and the temperament to do the right thing, then when it's time to communicate hard and difficult decisions to them, they're going to be more receptive to it. Yeah. And that's what I'm going to do.
I love that. I love that answer. And also, too, there's something that you said there that I can't help but sit there and think is how the public can be misinformed, or a topic kind of grows that it diverges in one way where the evidence is taking you another way. Social media is obviously something that can be on that, but just dealing with media in general, what is the role of a district attorney when it comes to dealing with media? Because I feel like there has to be a relationship there, but there's checks and balances that I assume that a media company or any media company would have to have, that you can't kind of be seen as we're your press release.
Absolutely. Of course, we're free to acknowledge and report publicly available information. Yeah. And that's limited, right? If someone is charged with something, we can report that. Mm-hmm. But we can't discuss the details, for example, of a criminal investigation. And there's a whole host of reasons for that. Not just privacy, but also keeping the integrity of the investigation in place, so that when you go and interview someone, they haven't heard details about the case through social media or some other form of reporting, and you can get a firsthand account from them or learn that they don't know what it is that you're seeking from them. Mm-hmm. I think it is important, talking about social media. Let me ask you this. Do you believe everything you read on chatter.
All the time. It's just,
Yeah.
It's honestly gotten to the point where I don't believe almost anything I read on chatter. I'm just like, I'm going to fact check this.
But we all can't help ourselves, right?
Oh, we get tied up.
We have to look at it, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's responsible for a district attorney's office to try a case in social media, to get on these various social websites and respond to folks that are, whether they're saying something good in your estimation or bad. I think we need to speak ultimately through the convictions that we secure.
Yeah.
I think that's what will inspire confidence in the public, much more than bantering back and forth with folks on social media. I don't think that inspires confidence at all.
No, and I think the bigger thing that I see with that is I think of protecting the integrity of the office becomes something that's very big, and I think that's something that you talk about with the discipline and the ideals that you have for that is there's something about that you're just like, I don't need. I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, I'm like, I kind of think of that as a office that I don't want to see that when it comes to. It makes me a little bit nervous when I see something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the word for what you're describing is professionalism.
That's a great one.
Yeah, and of course, professionalism also will inspire confidence.
Yeah.
Right. So yes, conduct yourself professionally, and conduct the office in a way that inspires confidence.
Yeah.
And that requires a certain temperament and a certain way of doing things, and that does not include trying cases or conducting investigations over social media.
Yeah, I mean that's stuff that I do as a opinion giver of sports in Warren County. Like if I'm over there fighting with people, are like, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. The district attorney, nah, maybe not. We probably there's probably somewhere in the levels of professionalism, y'all, that office is a little bit more than regular sports guy, especially a hot take artist such as myself. Toughest thing that you feel like might be facing our district right now, whether it's with Warren County or Van Buren County? What's something that's facing this area that we have to, try to take care of?
Well, there's the perpetual problem of drugs, right? That has been, is, and will be a huge problem. It will underlie most of the crime that we seek to prosecute. So I think that's always going to be part of the answer. I also think, and I want to go back to this backlog of cases.
Yes.
We have some cases that are just too old. We have cases that either need to be dismissed, tried, or settled. But something needs to happen, because when cases get old, justice suffers. You have a defendant who has no resolution. You have a victim who has no resolution. You have the public looking at you saying, why is this case taking so long? Imagine going into court to try a case to a jury, and they find out that the case was indicted in, say, 2018, 2019, and having to somehow overcome their thought, which is, why did it take so long to get here? So you're starting behind, right? In terms of making sure that they have confidence that you've brought them a strong case. So
I think they're also too, as someone that, I've never sit on a jury, but also too, you start thinking 8, 9, 10 years, like, if you bring a witness up here, how much is their recollection going to be what they saw 10 years ago, stuff like that? I think
that's
there's
exactly
always,
right.
You're fighting doubt. You're fighting a lot of doubt the moment you walk into the room.
That's exactly right, and that's a problem that needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
And I think hard decisions will have to be made, and but it needs to be done.
Yeah. Going back to the drug problem a little bit, we talk about it. Everybody says it, and we hit on it. What, aside from just longer sentences, what are things that are going to have to be done to mitigate this issue? I mean, it's. I don't think it's ever going to be completely erased. But what can the DA's office do to maybe get some forward momentum on this?
Well, I think what we do is we bring strong cases against drug dealers.
Yeah.
And we seek those sentences you're talking about for them. I think we work with adult recovery court and some of the faith-based recovery organizations. And we steer people who are addicts or who are addicts that deal to their friends. For example, there are categories of drug dealers, right? There's the major players that are in it for the money. There are folks who are not that type of a drug dealer, and what you want are folks that want to be rehabilitated, that are willing to apply themselves to a structured program, to bring them back and to make them a productive member of our community. I think that benefits all of us. I think that's something we can all agree on.
Yeah.
And that is, just like the problem is likely to always be here, those solutions will also always need to be sought.
Yeah.
And so the question is, who can do that, right? And I'm seeking to make the case that I can do that.
I like that. I like that a lot. A little bit of let's dive into maybe the personal side. I mean, you're here, and everybody wants to know about you as a district attorney. But sometimes I just want to know about you as a person. Through 30 years plus, probably, of being in this profession, what keeps you from being cynical when it goes into this job? Because at some point, I feel like when you have to deal with very heavy things all the time, I feel like it would be easy to be like, the world's terrible. But I feel like you are still an optimistic person that wants to effect change.
Yes, I guess if you're asking me about personality,
Yeah.
I am optimistic.
Yeah.
I don't think of myself as a cynic.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think meeting with the current work that I'm doing now, meeting with victims and their families in truly tragic situations, has given me an opportunity to maybe grow my heart just a little bit bigger, and see opportunities to maybe achieve a measure of justice for these folks.
Yeah.
And that's extremely gratifying when you're able to accomplish that. Not everything results in a success. And I could see how one could become cynical if you don't have success every time. I guess I'm blessed that I keep pressing forward and seeking that next win, and looking to help change a life for the better, and to protect folks from some really monstrous predators. And when you're able to do that, there's a level of gratification, I guess, professionally anyway, that helps. So no, I'm not a cynic, and I don't know exactly how to explain that, but
hey, I'm proud of you because I get pretty cynical when it comes to my job. So I'm glad that yours is still lives in a lot of optimism. When you're not in the suit and tie, mm-hmm. or just dressed up and having to be in the courtroom, what is a day in the life of Randall Gilliam when you're not in the office?
Well, if I have my way, I've hooked my RV up to my pickup truck.
Okay.
And I'm headed to one of the beautiful state parks around here.
Yeah.
Or if I can really pull it off, I'm headed out of state I've been to the Keys 3 times with my RV and loved that. But no,
man.
I love, now, let me be clear. I don't like to camp. I don't want to sleep on the ground.
I think I heard y'all talking about this, that there's a difference between the RV and the tent when it comes to camping.
I like to be near nature, not in nature.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, something about sleeping on the ground just does not appeal to me at all. And it sounds like, with you like the RV, but a lot of places around here though, as you said, that are beautiful.
We are blessed with beautiful state parks just right here. And man, there's something about just stepping out of your RV, not your tent, your RV, with a warm cup of coffee on a crisp morning, and that's my thing. That's what I love to do.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Hopefully, maybe like August 7th through the 8th or something, that weekend, next weekend, you can have that. Like I know that until August 6th, you're going to be really, really busy, but maybe like the 8th and the 9th, you can go take an RV trip. Win, lose, or draw. Just go have a good time for a weekend and make it about, you and your family. I'm sure that'll be fun. If you were to be elected next week, and the end of your 4 years that you would have to be in there, what would have to happen for you to look back and say, we were a success?
if we restore confidence in the DA's office by doing a good job,
Mhm.
by reducing the backlog, by restoring and repairing relationships with law enforcement, doing a better job by victims,
Yeah.
I'm going to call that a success.
I like
Absolutely.
that. You want to do a little lightning round? Yeah, a little quick draw here.
What's a lightning round?
We're just gonna ask you quick questions and let you get, and they're gonna be crazy. They're serious. They're sometimes spontaneous, and also to answer a couple of questions from people that were asking in the comment section. Someone actually asked me. They said, "Have you switched over to Hardee's from Sonic?" Yeah, I have. I think I have. I think I might be going with the Hardee's drinks the last couple of days. I'm pretty happy about what I'm getting over there at Hardee's too. It's always Diet Coke though. So, again, if you want to, go check out Hardee's. Always go check out Mud Bums, our presenting sponsor of the Simmons Says Show, 507-2867, 507-BUMS. Again, you can go get the lunch specials. You'll be over there tonight. Go get half-price appetizers. Within reason, there are some that you have to check with the menu and make sure that they're the half-price ones. Some people get mad. They're like, Jeff's Jumbo Nachos aren't half-price. Yeah, but some of them are. So go over there and check out Mud Bums. Yeah, lightning round. This is the quickest one. You like Mud Bums. I'm pretty sure you're a Mud Bums guy. What's your favorite item on Mud Bums?
Well, it's the wings, of course.
Yeah. So how do you go? Do you go traditional or you smoke? I mean, TKOs?
I'm bone-in,
Okay.
breaded,
Okay.
and the hottest sauce that they'll bring.
Yeah. Have you actually tried to goose them into going even hotter? You're like, hey, that's not hot enough for me.
They've done it, and sometimes they've overachieved.
Yeah, I was just say. So you're traditional, as hot as it possibly gets. Are you a wing or drum?
Wing.
Okay. All right. So
flats. Flats.
Flats. My apologies. My apologies. See, I should probably know that. People gonna get on to me for that one. So for the flats, you just said it. I think you're gonna already answer this. You're a coffee guy, Diet Coke. How do you get your caffeine fix? Is it always coffee?
It's always coffee, and this is not healthy. And so anyone listening to this, don't emulate me.
Yeah.
But I'm 2 cups of coffee in the morning, just about every day.
Okay.
And that's I know that's not healthy, but
I don't think you're running for medical examiner or anything like that.
But yeah.
Now you do have the doctor background in the family and everything like that. That's probably the answer. Like, that's probably not the best thing in the world. Jury trial or bench trial?
What do you mean?
Which one? Do you have a preference at all?
Jury trial.
Jury trial. Always?
Jury trial. That's now we'll do either one.
Yeah.
But a jury trial, I think, when you convince 12 people to vote the same way, think about that. Have you ever got 12 people to agree on something?
Not in Warren County.
So so the answer is jury trial.
Yeah, maybe a couple teams I've been on. Maybe we agreed on. I don't even. Now I was thinking about it. I don't even know if we got in any of that one. Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Night owl. Yeah. I mean, I think that does job dictate that? Sometimes
it's just the way I'm wired. I wish I was an early bird.
Yeah,
I really do. My wife is knocking on the door of Planet Fitness at 5 a.m. just about every day, and she invites me along every once in a while until she remembers that that's just not going to happen. So if I could be an early bird, I'd love to be up there with her at 5 in the morning. But it's just not the way I'm wired. I'm a night guy.
Yeah. One word that your wife would use to describe you.
Oh man, you're setting me up now.
Maybe not one word, but a thorough description of what she would say. Not thorough, maybe a very vague one.
I think that she would say that I'm someone who always tries to do the right thing, to wear the white hat, and even when that's not necessarily the easy way. Yeah. I think that's what she would say.
I like that. Compassionate, maybe.
Compassionate.
That may sum it down to one word from what I'm hearing there. Yeah, or thorough. I like that too. Last one. Finish this sentence for me. Justice isn't blank.
Justice isn't easy. It requires diligence, discipline, and thoroughness.
You've accomplished the lightning round. You've lived through it, man. I know that might have been the toughest thing that we did all day. It's like, I don't know what's going to go on here out there. Again, too, early voting will go on in Warren County from July 27th, which was yesterday, all the way up to August 1st at Morrison's, Ruritan at Centertown. Also, early voting's already been going on since the 17th at Locust Street on the Administration Building. That will go on until August the 1st. Then their election is on August 6th. Randall Gilliam is a candidate for the 31st district attorney, if I'm not mistaken on there. Sometimes I get messed up on the number out there. That is Warren County and Van Buren County. Randall, best of luck. And again, I'll say the same thing that I've told everybody here. Just putting your name on the ballot takes a little bit of gumption, because there's a lot of people that want to talk about stuff that might not want to ever put their name on a ballot to affect change. That's what you're trying to do right now. I appreciate that. I appreciate everything you're trying to do.
Thanks for having me on the show. I'm grateful for the opportunity to talk to you and to everyone that's watching the show.
Yeah. And did you want to break down who you rooted for in the Fiesta Bowl in 1999? Or you want?
Are you talking about 1998?
The national championship game. Yeah.
Well, I think we talked off air. I had split loyalties, right?
You grew up in Florida.
I was a UT fan and an FSU fan, which was not a problem until '98.
Yeah, or also it wasn't a problem even then, because somebody was going to win, so you were in good shape.
That's right, kind of a win-win for me, right?
Yeah, you're in good shape. Yeah. Hopefully, hey, listen, win-win might be nice. Not be nice to hear next Thursday too. On that one. Randall, appreciate y'all again, too. We will be back on the Simmons Says Show Thursday. Sheriff candidate Bo Ramsey will be in. We'll be on the Simmons Says Show, or the Warren County Sports Authority show tomorrow night, 5 p.m. We'll be bringing in Patty Clark, Pioneerette coach, legendary Pioneer coach, and Back It Up Terry will be on at 5 o'clock tonight from Studio 605. We're done.
Kids and babies, a present of flesh, yeah. Got us all in a big old